The United States of America has successfully carried out a large-scale strike against Venezuela and its leader, President Nicolas Maduro, who has been, along with his wife, captured and flown out of the country. This operation was done in conjunction with U.S. law enforcement. Details to follow. There will be a news conference today at 11 a.m. at Mar-a-Lago. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump.
Rowdy Nation TV, welcome back to the channel. Happy New Year, guys. I was hoping that the United States government and us, just America period, would get off to a better start in the year 2026. But unfortunately, we didn't. I woke up this morning to that clip you just seen, and Donald Trump told us he was going to do this, right? So that's why it's so important to get out and vote. So important to get out and vote. Even if you're disillusioned with your party, you have to get out and vote, because you never know, man, what the next leader might do. And unfortunately, Donald Trump has a campaign of vengeance in his second term, and he told us he would do that. And so I had to ask myself, is this the first time that the United States government has bombed another country, went in that country, kidnapped that president and his wife, and we're not even at war? Is this the first time that that's happened? So I had to look, and I had to do a little searching, and I said, no, it's not the first time that the United States seized a foreign leader. This is not the first time, people. So let's go back and check it out. We had Manuel Noriega, Panama, 1989. Noriega was a de facto leader of Panama. U.S. invaded Panama. But see, that's what I'm saying. We invaded Panama. The operation was called Just Cause. He was captured by U.S. forces, brought to the U.S., tried, convicted, and imprisoned. Now, we also had Saddam Hussein. But the difference here, we were at war. This is a wartime capture. And we all know that at the end of that, Saddam Hussein eventually was convicted and executed. Now, way back in the day, Pancho Villa, he wasn't a president, but he was a revolutionary leader for Mexico. And the United States government tried. They went over into Mexico. They tried to capture or kill Pancho Villa, but they couldn't do it. He got away. You know what I mean? That was back in 1916 and 1917. So I guess they learned from way back then on how to go into these countries and kidnap foreign leaders. But they also don't just kidnap foreign leaders. They also don't just do that. In 1990, the United States versus Alvarez Machain. I hope I'm saying that right. M-A-C-H A-I-N. Machain. An explicit kidnapping. That's what it is. I'm sorry if I messed that name up. He was a Mexican doctor, forcibly abducted from Mexico, and this was done at the request of the DEA. The Supreme Court ruled the trial could proceed, and they prosecuted this guy. Went in, grabbed this guy from Mexico, a doctor, and they prosecuted. We're not going to get into why they did all that, but I'm going to get into the case that we're seeing right now. What makes this feel a little different from all these other cases, what Donald Trump is doing right now? What's new isn't that the act itself is new. It's doing outside of declared war. We're not even at war. He's targeting a sitting formal national leader. You know what I mean? So this is what's different. Using criminal charges instead of battlefield capture. Claiming global jurisdiction. You can't do that. You can't claim global jurisdiction. This is my thing here, people. Donald Trump's a bully. He knows who to pick on, right? He knows who to pick on, but he's doing everything in his power to not release those Jeffrey Epstein files. And the people want to know. And it's not just people like me, it's his base. And that's the difference here. His base wants to know. You know, he damn near campaigned on it. You know, this is horrible. I never thought I'd see the day where a president will hijack the Supreme Court. A president will hijack the FBI. A president will hijack the Department of Justice. Where are the Democrats? Actually, where is anybody except for Bernie Sanders who will get up and address the issues head on, you know, and talk real? I think Bernie Sanders is a Jew. is Jewish. Not a Jew, but he's Jewish, right? And we're not going to get into all that, but I think the reason why the Democrats can't address it because they're in pocket with Israel, and that's what makes it. You can't define the difference between the Republicans and the Democrats because they have one thing in common. We're doing the work of Israel, but that's another subject for another day. But I think the reason why he's doing this is because he's deflecting from the Jeffrey Epstein files, and we want to see it. His base wants to see it, and we want to see it unredacted. We want to see that unredacted report of the Jeffrey Epstein files. I think this is horrible, man. And people get on this channel. I mean, and watch this. When they have that press conference, they're gonna get on there and they're gonna talk about what a grand operation this was, how great this was, how they went in and they did this and that. This country is damn near like a third world country. You can see that it's striving and progressing a little bit with their economy because they do have oil, and we've hijacked that oil. So is that why our gas prices are so low? So you got to ask yourself: are you willing to go and subject another country, damn near like a third world country, to all these types of abuses where you're bombing their boats, you're stealing their oil, you're taking their oil tankers? That's the most, their economy, you're trying to wreck their economy. Okay, I want to know, since now that you've arrested Nicolas Maduro, will the United States government continue to seize oil tankers? Continue to basically just, they're like Somali pirates over there who stop and kidnap people off their boats and hold them for ransom. But they're not even doing that. They're just blowing up boats. They're blowing up boats and seizing oil tankers. And you heard the president. They were asked, "What are you going to do with the oil?" I guess we'll just use it. So that's why oil is cheap. And you got to ask yourself, yes, are you willing to subject people, human beings, to this type of punishment with no law, no due process, to get cheap oil and to deflect? And that's just to deflect from the Jeffrey Epstein file. Do you support a criminal regime government who I believe is protecting a worldwide pedo ring? And you know, when I say pedo, you know what I mean. A worldwide pedo ring, and have the nerve to holler to talk about Christianity, to talk about that like they're Christ-like, to even use Charlie Kirk and his, man, this is all a front, a fraud, and you've been bamboozled and you've been had. I'm just saying, people. I'm just saying. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the White House. Look what he's done to the White House. It's symbolic of what he's doing to the nation at hand. He's wrecked it. If you walk by the White House right now and look at it, it's wrecked. He's wrecked the East Wing. And I believe that he didn't even have the authority to even start construction. To even do, you have to go to I'm not sure if it's Congress, but you have to go get approval for that. This dude is something else, man. And to wake up this morning to this news that they went in and bombed Venezuela and captured his wife and the president and transported them out of the country somewhere. We don't know where they're at, right? On the charge that he's trying to stop drugs from being imported into the United States. You know what I mean? That country is not even right next door to us. You don't know where those boats are going. You don't even know the people on the boats. You don't even know what's on the boats. No due process. And all this is just a cover-up, people, to keep us talking like we're doing right now, to talk about this and not talk about the Jeffrey Epstein files. This dude is, man. If you're not, if make it make sense. You can't gotta make it make sense. If you're not in the foul yourself, we know you're already in it. But if you're not in there and you're not doing anything incriminating, why would you care to protect your billionaire friends? Why would you do it? If you're not in it, why would you have to ask the question, why would you do it? And that's the question that I'm asking. Why would you protect these people who do the type of things they do to these underage girls? Why would you do that? And still, in the next mic in your hand, talk that you're Christ-like. Why would you do that? I'm talking not just Donald Trump. I'm talking about the whole Republican Party. I'm talking about his whole base. And I'm talking about you, the voter, who voted for this guy. That's what I'm talking about. If your ears hear this message, it's not about politics no more. And you got to ask yourself why you continue to support this man. You got to ask yourself, only God and you know that in your heart, right? You can sit up here and talk to your friends and placate yourself and act like you not whatever you pretend to not to be. You know what I mean? But in your heart, you know what you are. Just like I know what I am. You know, in my heart, I know what I am. If I'm doing wrong, in my heart, I know. You know when you're doing wrong. You know when you're wrong, man. That's a feeling that you get. You know. And if you don't have that feeling, something is inherently wrong with you. And I think you need to seek out professional help. Now, I'm not going to harp on this too much longer, but I do want to say this, people. We've arrested Nicolas Maduro and his wife. What's next? If we continue to seize oil, I already know what's next. I already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to sit up here in front to myself. I can't lie to myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I never lied before, but I can't lie to myself. We can't lie to ourselves. Some people can. And when you do that, and I believe Donald Trump is that type of person who lies to himself. And then he has people, this is the worst part. You have people surrounding him. Let me stop for a second, because you know, it makes me I just want to say this. People do some strange things for some change, man. People, that's to me, the people surrounded by President Trump has basically sold their souls. You sold your soul. Wow, man, I ain't gonna harp on it no more. I'm sorry, guys, man. I just hate to see this happening to this country. I think right now we're living in a time, I think right now that we're living in a time where the people are gonna look back and say, what did you do? What did you say? Did you stand up? What did you do during that time? People are gonna look back at their man, this is gonna be sad, bro. This is really gonna be sad, because I think we are actually witnessing the decline, the decline of the American government, the decline of America, the decline of when they said America was that shining light, that example of that high example of civilization. These people are not civilized people. These people are beasts and animals dressed up in suits. That's what they are. Evil. Leave me a comment in my comment section and let me know what you think about this, man. Just let me know. Let's conversate and see and see what we can do to change our situation, man. I just definitely say that we need to get out there and vote, right? Definitely we have to vote. Rowdy Nation TV. Click that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, so anytime I drop a video, you guys can be notified. We out.